we need to talk. Me and you, we need to talk. I thought me and you had a good understanding here. Genuinely, I thought this channel, me and you, sat down, talked about films, gave each other recommendations, gave our thoughts. I thought we had a good thing going here. And yet, you guys let me, at 28 years of age, go my entire life without watching Dune. Is that what friends do? I don't think I'll ever be able to look at you guys the same. Because how you guys allowed me to go all this time without watching this absolute masterpiece is nothing short of egregious. And honestly, I feel a little deceived. I feel a little betrayed. Because this film right here, oh my word. Cinema. I've watched a lot of films in my life. I haven't watched every film. And I've missed a lot of classics. There's a lot of great film that I haven't watched, right? Dune is one of them. And I don't know what I was doing around the time Dune came out, right? Hold on, let me actually see. When did Dune get released? Dune 1 was released in 2021, October. What was I doing? To be fair, I had just moved to the UK around this time. So what was I doing? Probably moving in. Probably, finding myself an apartment. That might be the reason why I never watched it. Sometimes you miss a film and you never get around to watching it. And then the second film comes out. And you're like, well, I can't watch the second because I haven't watched the first, and I haven't got around to watching the first, so I'm just not going to watch this. That's probably what happened to me. But how I've never been inspired to watch this film at all, I'm surprised because I probably haven't mentioned it enough, right? But one of my favorite genres in film is sci-fi, right? You're talking about Star Wars, you're talking about Planet of the Apes, you're talking about Interstellar. Even films, maybe not so much sci-fi, but you're talking about Inception or Planet of the Apes, these movies that tread the line so thinly between reality and mythology. Those kinds of films are a bit of me. I love it, man. I love it. Take me on an adventure. Take me on an adventure that's not completely out of the realms of possibility, but still introduces these concepts and these world building and these characters and these different species. I love it. I absolutely love it. And this film had all of that and more. And boy, it was executed to perfection. Where do we even start with this? The cinematography. I'm sounding like a film critic these days, but the cinematography, even if you're not a film head like that, like a cinephile as they call it, even if you're not really someone who immerses yourself into that world, I think you have to watch this film and come away from it really appreciating how gorgeous of a movie this is. On the eye, if we're talking about the eye test here, right? You guys know I'm all about the eye test. Aesthetically, this movie ranks 10 out of 10. This is the Isco of films. Actually, no, it had a bit more substance than Isco. This is Andres Iniesta. Wow, the guile, the beauty, everything about it was just pleasing on the eye to watch. I couldn't take my eyes off this film. This is one of those films that midway through you're just scrolling on your phone because there's a boring part. Not at all. It's too gorgeous to look away from. And then the story on top of it. I know this is taken from a book, right? Dune was a book, I think even in the 1950s I read. The only thing I'm disappointed about was, damn it, it's only part 1. And I know part 2 is out, and I promise you, I will probably have a Dune part 2 reaction within this week. I'm going to watch this as soon as possible. But the fact that this was a part 1, and part 1 was 2.5 hours, oh my goodness. I need more. I need more. Dune 2, I'm bodying that film tonight. I promise you I'm bodying that film tonight. Let's talk about some of the actors and the plot of this film. As always, guys, well, this is a film that's been out for 5 years. So if you haven't watched it, you were like me. Don't watch past this point. This is going to be full of spoilers. If you have watched it, carry on. We have to start, of course, with the protagonist, with the main character, Paul Atreides, aka Lisan al-Gaib. Wow. The main man. And I'm going to be honest here. I haven't watched enough of this guy's filmography. So after I watch Dune 2, I need you guys to recommend some Timothée Chalamet classics that I need to watch. Obviously, I've seen films he's featured in, right? Interstellar, this and that. I've watched films. But I don't think I've seen enough of his films, to be honest with you. I know he's a very talented actor, and I was a big fan of his speech receiving that award a few years ago. But I haven't watched enough of Timothée Chalamet. But when you watch this, you understand the hype. You understand why this guy is one of the wonder kids of film. This right here is Pedri. He's Pedri, man. He started young, and he just won't stop going. His performance was so good, man. So good. Stoic when he needs to be, expressive when he needs to be. I think he's a fantastic actor, but he's the main character, and the story really revolves around him and his family, the Atreides. Now, they moved to this planet, Arrakis, which is, I think it's primarily a planet known for its spice and known for its lack of water. But it was a planet that was previously taken over by the Harkonnens. I think they had basically residence over it. However, they were ordered by the Emperor to leave so that House Atreides could be the new inhabitants of Arrakis, right? But we come to find out that that was just a plan to basically execute the entire family. They wanted to purge every single Atreides member that there was. And in the dead of the night, when all the Atreides were sleeping, they basically came through and slaughtered all of them, including his dad and all of his friends. But the only people really to escape were himself and his mother, Lady Jessica Atreides. Now, I can't remember what the exact thing that they called her was. Okay, basically, she is the Ben and Gesserit of House Atreides, effectively, right? And it's a little complicated, right? But the Ben Gesserit are like this basically cult of women who have like mind control, and they can effectively command people what to do with their voice, and they're extremely powerful. But their one rule is they're only allowed to have daughters, I believe. And she effectively breaks that rule by having Paul Atreides, who we previously spoke about. But her and her son are the only two survivors, basically, of that effective genocide of their people, right? However, during the whole start of the film and throughout, we clock that Paul is very, very different to the rest of them. First and foremost, the minute he arrives on the planet, all of the people are whispering, Lisan al-Gaib, Lisan al-Gaib, Lisan al-Gaib. He's wondering, what the hell does that mean, right? And even like the Fremen that go to Arrakis to greet them clock that there's something different about him. They call him the Chosen One. They say, they quote things that they were told the Messiah would do when he eventually came back, and he's almost doing everything that they were told. So from the jump, we clock that this guy's very, very different. And also, he bears a lot of the traits that his mother does in terms of he's able to see visions, and he's able to control people with his voice. He's very, very unique, and you can tell he's not just a regular Atreides member. He's more than just the heir to the throne of his father. He is more than that. But he has these visions, even before his house gets invaded, about linking up with the Fremen and this one woman consistently in his dreams. That woman is Shanti, aka played by Zendaya. And we don't really get much of her in this film. She's really just in his flashbacks and in his dreams, and we eventually see her towards the end, but she doesn't have a huge role in this film. However, I think it's pretty obvious that in part 2, she will be a massive, massive character. You can sense there's like some romance in his visions, except that when he goes and meets her, she has no idea of who he is. But you can tell there's something going on between the two of them. And like every good film, you gotta have a bad guy. You gotta have an antagonist. And of course, there is the Emperor who's overseeing everything. But this guy right here, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, he is terrifying. He is terrifying. This guy weighs like 500 pounds on a good day, and he can float. Oh my word, he's ruthless, he's strong, he's maniacal. He is a really, really good villain. You know when you're scared shitless of a villain, even this image right here, look at that. Coming out the mud, literally. They try and kill him, right? Paul's dad has this device in his mouth that when he releases it, will basically poison the entire room and kill everybody. He basically does that as like one last attempt at saving his house. It kills everybody except this brother who's floating at the top of the wall, basically praying to survive, and he actually does. He is crazy. And the scariest thing about him, right, is I honestly think we've only seen about like 1% of his actual power. I think he's capable of so much more. And of course, his army is powerful. By the way, one thing I want to say, right, this film, I would love to know the budget, not just in terms of how much the movie cost to make from cinematography and all that stuff, but how much they paid the actors. Because even as someone who's not like a movie head like that, I recognize so many famous actors in this. Okay, forgive me if I don't recognize everybody, right? You guys might be like, how do you not know who this is? So, okay, Timothée Chalamet, I know. Rebecca Ferguson, I'm not familiar. Zendaya, obviously, I know. Denis Villeneuve, I think he's the director, right? Yeah, he's the director. Oscar Isaac, I know Oscar Isaac. Javier Bardem, of course I know Javier Bardem. I don't know, excuse me. This guy I know. Of course, he was in Marvel. Jason Momoa, obviously know Jason Momoa. Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista. This guy right here, I know him. There's some big actors and actresses in this film. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, damn, this was a massive, massive film. Massive. And yet, no one wanted to tell me that this was must-watch cinema. No one wanted to tell me that this was one of the movies you had to watch. That's why I started this review out so outraged, because I just feel like I've been living a lie. I've been living a lie this entire time, watching all these half-decent, average films, when this cinematic masterpiece was at my feet this entire time. Don't do that to me again. I trust you guys to be my source of information here. Do not do that again, because I feel like I've been living under a rock this entire time. But most importantly, there is more to come. I even know that there's a Dune Part 3 that's meant to come. I haven't watched the trailer of it yet. But guys, Dune 2, I cannot wait to get this started, because everything about this film... I even forgot the end, when he eventually links up with the Fremen. And they all doubt who he is, and they all almost basically want to throw him and his mother back into the desert. They want to sacrifice them, because the Fremen, from what I've understood... First of all, they are the actual inhabitants of the people. They're the indigenous people of Arrakis. But they survive by effectively killing people and taking the water out of their body, either to drink or to fuel themselves, whatever. So they want to do that basically with Paul and his mother. One of their people, one of the Fremen, effectively don't want anything to do with him and say, okay, I'll fight him. And winner takes it all. If you die, you die. And Paul comes out with these crazy ass battle technique. And I know he's got moves, right? Because we saw even on in his house in training, he can fight. He can definitely fight. But the way he just takes care of that Fremen, it takes everyone by surprise. They all clock, okay, this guy's not some regular dude from royalty. He's the real deal. And I think that's where Javier Bardem's character starts to look at him and think, ooh, this brother might be the Lisan al-Gaib. Lisan al-Gaib, by the way, what a name. What a name. Him and his mother effectively join the Fremen, and that's really where this film leaves off. It goes like a million miles an hour. You get introduced to characters that you don't even really get to sit with, right? His dad. That's a big... Oscar Isaac is playing his dad. His dad is in what, 20 minutes of the film, it feels like? Never see him again. Jason Momoa's character. That's basically his bodyguard. Never get to see him again after he dies. Josh Brolin. He dies. You just never get to... Maybe do they come back in part 2? I doubt it. They seem pretty dead to me. But... it's crazy how quickly this movie goes, how intense it is, and then it just stops and leaves you on a cliffhanger. I cannot wait to watch Dune Part 2, but I needed to leave you guys a review, because this film, watching it, it absolutely blew my mind. This is one of my favorite films I have watched in such a long time. So Dune 2, bring it on. Guys, let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Why have you kept me in the dark this long? Please, excuse yourselves. Find reasoning. Otherwise, we're going to have problems. And stay tuned for Dune Part 2, the review, because it will be coming very, very soon. Peace.